Combs. I'm going to try and get his case to trial as quickly as possible. I'm going to try and minimize the amount of time he spends in very, very difficult housing conditions.
He's here. You didn't have to track him down. He's doing everything right, at least right now. I'm not sure it's going to be enough at the end of the day.
He's fighting, he's innocent, and he's going to be able to
Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, has officially stepped back from efforts to secure his release after Judge Aaron Superan disclosed shocking details about Diddy's alleged actions toward witnesses. A leaked phone call was recently played in court, allegedly capturing Diddy engaging in witness tampering. The contents were reportedly so damning that any hope of bail now appears completely out of reach.
Right on Thanksgiving Eve, right at the end of the day on Wednesday, it reads, the court has evaluated each of the factors that it must consider under the relevant law. 1, nature and circumstances of the offense charged. 2, weight of the evidence against the person. 3, history and characteristics of the person. And 4, nature. The court has also reviewed the information submitted by Combs and the government across all 3 bail hearings in this case. As you remember, Sean Combs was denied bail both by a magistrate judge and a district court judge. Judge Subramanian writes, the court finds that the government has shown by clear and convincing evidence, so that's the standard, that no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the safety of the community. In support of this finding, the court provides the following.
Diddy has been caught in yet another major legal blow, this time for allegedly tampering with witnesses while in federal custody. Authorities say he made calls to victims from the Metropolitan Detention Center, calls that were all being recorded. This marks the 3rd time his bail request has been denied. With this latest evidence surfacing, Diddy's chances of being released before his trial in May 2025 have all but vanished. Judge Subramanian pointed to clear and convincing proof that Sean Combs remains a threat to the community and poses a serious risk of further witness tampering.
He made a bail.
The last thing, if that's true, or I should say, if there's real indicia that happened, I think that might tip the scales in favor of not letting him out pending trial, because I think, and you know this, I think judges take an extraordinarily dim view of that. And that might be the factor that tips the scale against him. But I think as far as a tactic, I think it was very smart to do what they did and to say, look, you know, he's here. You didn't have to track him down. He's got a real defense here. He's doing everything right, at least right now. I'm not sure it's going to be enough at the end.
What he did here is on a magnitude of unlike anybody else you could imagine. A week after those public searches were televised, he gave us his passport. His children gave us his passport. He then paid off the mortgage entirely on his Miami home, $18 million. It's instructive that he's gonna have a bail package ready so that if he was arrested, he would have something ready so that he could get out the next day and show the judge he's taking this very seriously, which he is, which is why 12 very next day. And that's an extraordinary move for a defendant who's been under investigation that he's been aware of for at least 6 months. He has done everything somebody under investigation can do. I can't think of anything else that he could have done. He's fighting, he's innocent, and he's gonna be able to show.
Prosecutors reportedly presented a leaked phone call in court between Diddy and his son, Christian Combs. In the recording, Diddy is allegedly heard using coded language to instruct his son to eliminate evidence and silence witnesses. The conversation has only strengthened the case against him, casting a darker shadow over his legal situation. With the weight of this new evidence, experts say Diddy's chances of securing bail are virtually non-existent, unless he somehow holds compromising information on a judge, which seems like the only card he has left to play.
It looked like he might get bail. Now you're wondering why I'm saying that. See, they are trying to use some of the things that happen to criminals all the time, or inmates all the time. They always, brother, they always do those impromptu searches. And in one of the cases, in this particular case, they said and get their client and lawyer privileges. He can't properly do his case with, you understand, with them constantly going into jail cells, searching him, taking his legal briefs, taking his information, and then probably using it against him. But I don't believe none of that to be true. I believe that they went in there just like they do all the other inmates based on the information they had. You gotta realize this, bro. They found out that Diddy was using other inmates' phone cards. Now that probably happens all the time. You understand? And he gotta be probably the smartest, dumbest person that I know, because he gotta know that those phone calls are being taped. So whatever his lawyers and them come up with, the prosecution's gonna come up with something else. So the judge is gonna wanna know, well, what did they do, you know, when they found out he was in violation of some of this stuff that he was doing? Did they charge him with something new? Did they, in the interim of him doing this stuff, that they alleged that he done? So it's gonna be a whole forestry of next week. Because what they did was they held off whatever the procedures was gonna go down today. The judge said he's gonna revisit this next week. So I guess, I don't know if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll find out what's going on. But it's gonna be something that I think it may shock the world.
Tactor. More details emerge. It becomes increasingly clear that granting Diddy bail could put the voices of his alleged victims in serious jeopardy. With immense wealth and influence at his disposal, Diddy has the means to buy silence, and when money fails, he's accused of using intimidation. Even Cassie, who reportedly had video evidence, was allegedly pressured into dropping her case. Keeping this power dynamic in mind, legal analyst Gan Deal has issued a chilling warning. Despite the mounting evidence and public backlash, there's a real possibility Diddy could still be granted bail, sending shockwaves through those seeking justice.
Even when the feds caught them, they caught drugs on his person and drugs in his room, right? So now he goes in front of the first judge. The judge was like, yo, your lawyers can't handle you. You had plenty enough time to clean yourself up and start doing the right thing. So I can't give you bail. You sitting up here, you done made 100 and something calls to this one girl that could be a potential witness. They said that you done blew up somebody's car. What I look like giving you a bail? So now what people don't understand, why would they lawyer go to another judge? Which is crazy to me. They think another judge is gonna give them bail because they said, I'm gonna give you 50 million, 100 million, No, they not gonna fight against each other when none of your circumstances had changed the first time. Your first bail, you show that you ain't do nothing and you still had the ability, but I feel sorry for somebody I know that didn't use drugs. And now he losing his whole empire. And it's got to do with who he is as a person, but them show changed him and effed him up. Because he thought that those people was gonna give him bail because he was rich. Now, a lot of rich people still go to jail. Not like we do, but they still go to jail, especially when they got them like that and the attention, the bad press and the bad attention that he's been getting.
Diddy may be prepared to put up hundreds of millions in collateral to secure his release, but what he clearly isn't prepared to do is change his behavior. Despite knowing his calls are monitored, he's allegedly continued to engage in witness tampering from behind bars. His actions suggest that no amount of legal pressure has deterred him, and that his focus remains on controlling the narrative, not complying with.
Diddy is, why is he trying to get in contact with witnesses? He gotta know they
I know the judge is not trying to stop people's freedom of, they're trying to
To make the situation even more damning, authorities recently carried out a raid on Diddy's jail cell, prompted by the very phone calls he'd been making, calls he assumed were private. The operation uncovered critical evidence tied to the ongoing case, including handwritten notes allegedly containing a partial confession. Diddy reportedly believed his cell was off limits, but because the raid was based on information he inadvertently revealed during recorded calls, it was fully legal. The discovery has added yet another layer of trouble to his already collapsing.
You right about Diddy's phone being tapped, because news came out that his former bandmate from Dirty Money, she called the other group member Gunn 58 times, trying to get her to stop the lawsuit against Diddy.
She ain't the only one he was trying to get in contact with.
Sources close to Diddy have begun to speak out, revealing they've received phone calls from individuals claiming to represent him. Meanwhile, the controversy has started to ripple outward. Jay-Z and Beyoncé recently issued a cease and desist to Piers Morgan after he aired a segment suggesting they might have ties to Diddy's legal troubles. The power couple is pushing back hard against any attempts to drag their names into the unfolding.
Those statements include descriptions of eight here to be either inebriated or intoxicated or under the influence.
All of them. All of them.
Day by day, the evidence against Diddy continues to mount, painting an increasingly grim picture. One by one, those he allegedly harmed in the past are stepping out of the shadows, preparing to break their silence and testify. After years of being silenced or ignored, his accusers are finally finding the strength and the platform to speak out and hold him accountable.
To name people in these lawsuits, we're not going to do it in interviews. We're not going to do it, without doing our due diligence, because obviously, these types of allegations are very hurtful to people if they're not true. and very hurtful, frankly, if they are true. But if they're true, you shouldn't have been in the have a long list of names. And you might imagine in situations like this, that when a victim tells us that this person was in the room or this person participated, we want to do as much due diligence as humanly possible before we file that case. Because in the United States, in almost every state, public filings are in fact public. And when you name somebody in a lawsuit, the press is going to pick it up, and we're aware of that. So we're going to make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's. And I expect that there will be some people named in these lawsuits.
Diddy is facing over 36 lawsuits filed in courts nationwide, including both federal and state jurisdictions. The legal battles are spreading across the country as more individuals take action against him, adding to the mounting.
Why haven't anybody came out defending Diddy? All these celebrity friends he have, and nobody came out. Yeah, I mean, TD Jakes, he haven't even came out and said anything. And him and Diddy was real cool.
Amen.
Jean Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard and an eyewitness to many of the behind-the-scenes events, has come forward to reveal shocking details. According to Deal, Diddy holds compromising information on nearly every major figure in the industry. When the full list of names is eventually made public, it is expected to leave the public in utter disbelief.